Right now we are in a good routine here on the homestead after fall with all of its activities and Thanksgiving and Christmas. We are now just settled into January, the cold, our school routine, our winter farm routine and chores, and I'm embracing it this year. I really have learned over the years to do that more and more. One of my kids told me that whenever I was kind of reminiscing about summer, I do this. I get in the hot bathtub at night and I look at photos in my phone from July and August because it's my favorite. It's my favorite time of year. And I was telling one of my kids that, and he said, but when it's summer, you always want it to be winter. And when it's winter, you always want it to be summer. Quite some wisdom from the 8-year-old. Now, me personally, I don't want it to be winter in the middle of summer, but I understand the sentiment. The grass is always greener on the other side. I mean, it's especially greener in the summer, but there are beautiful things about winter and I'm enjoying them. I'm enjoying sitting by the fire, sitting in a piping hot bath and baking some beautiful things in my kitchen without any guilt of heating up the house with the oven, without feeling like I should be outside or taking the kids somewhere where we could splash around in the creek. None of that's going on. So I am in my element here in my favorite room in the farmhouse, the kitchen, being creative and making delicious things. The first thing I'm making here is sourdough brown bread. I've tried this a whole lot, so my family is probably sick of it at this point. The first time I added way too much whole grain flour that I had freshly milled. I was testing the recipe for the blog, and anyways, I needed to get it just right. Now I feel like I finally do, and the recipe is up on the blog, farmhouseonboone.com. It should be one of the most recent recipes, or if you're on there, just search sourdough brown bread. I'm going to take a little break from it because our family has had a lot of it with all of my testing. So you do a 1/2 cup of bubbly and active starter, 2 cups of whole wheat flour, 2.5 cups of all-purpose flour, 2 tablespoons of brown sugar, 1/4 cup of molasses and honey, each 1/4 cup, 2 tablespoons of cocoa powder, 1/4 cup of butter, 1.5 teaspoons of salt, and 1 3/4 cup water. Get that in a bowl. If it's in a not super warm place, you can let it sit for even up to, I believe the longest I did was 24 hours. Today I'm going to put it here in my pantry because this room is not super affected by the wood stove and it stays cool enough to ferment for a good long while. I am working this dough mid-morning and I will deal with it tomorrow morning. While the mixer is dirty, I'm also going to try my hand at Swedish buns. I've been seeing these all over the internet. I, of course, wanted to adapt them for a sourdough version. The recipe will soon be on the blog. For now, I am getting 4 tablespoons of butter, 1/2 cup of milk, 1/2 cup of starter, 1 teaspoon salt, 1/4 cup sugar, 3 cups of flour, and an egg going overnight in my warming spot in the pantry. Although I love the way our home feels full and decorated during the Christmas season, I always have this moment after Christmas where I want to pull back, minimize, clean everything up, Today, I want to do that a bit in our bedroom. I still have the decor up, but I want to strip back the bed and its rich dark colors, bring in something light and airy and comfortable, and I want to tell you about today's video sponsor, Brooklinen. Brooklinen is a luxury sheets company creating high quality home goods to elevate your home. Right now, Brooklinen is having their comforter event with all comforters, pillows, and duvet covers 15% off through January 18th. So this is a perfect time to shop for comforters that will provide warmth all through these cold winter months. With the minimal amount of things that I keep, I try to keep everything very streamlined and quality. I'm focusing on these high quality home goods to create the warmth and the coziness that I crave for the rest of this winter. I love how Brooklinen allows you to customize your comforter and choose one that is custom. You can select your exact warmth, fill, and size to fit your needs. We spend a third of our lives in bed, so it makes sense to invest in something that will be insanely comfortable. The Luxe Duvet from Brooklinen with the down fill in the comforter. I just want to stay in bed all day long sometimes, which isn't always a good thing, but with a baby that still wakes me up overnight, I probably end up spending more time in bed right now than in other times of my life, and it's so important to me that that space is the most comfortable in the world. Brooklinen's products are tried and true. They have over 100,000 5-star reviews, more than any other online bedding company. Brooklinen's down comforter is hypoallergenic, and there are loops on every corner to attach to the duvet cover, making it stay put and easy to make your bed each day. They have a lightweight, perfect for hot sleepers. There's the all season, great for year round. The ultra warm for those who like it extra cozy. The Luxe Sateen duvet cover starts with the highest quality threads. It's buttery smooth softness that gets better with every wash. I have been sleeping on Brooklinen sheets for many years now, and I never get tired of how comfortable, cozy, snuggly they are. Right now, Brooklinen is having their comforter event with all comforters, pillows, and duvet covers 15% off through January 18th. You can click my link in the description box below to take advantage of this awesome sale and bring some comfort and coziness to your room this winter. I dug out some old pillowcases with crochet or knit, I'm not really sure, edges. They're just beautiful, and I like that they feel light and airy, yet there's still a little bit of texture there. I am constantly swapping out pillows from around the house. Between the living room and the bedroom, there are 3 sets of pillows with a block print, and so they work pretty interchangeably depending on what look I'm going for in the bedroom or if I'm trying to switch stuff up in the living room. I have been just taking the Christmas decor down little by little. I'll get a handful of decor, head down to the basement, throw it in the bin. I've just been doing it without having to take one full day. Just as I see it, take a little bit down here and there. For whatever reason, that feels less overwhelming to me. I decorate in the same way. I don't bring it all up in one day. I take my time getting it up and my time taking it down. When I remove some of the very specific Christmas colors, the greenery looks quite lovely throughout the winter season. Although I will say, even though I'm leaving it up right now, I will probably take it down very soon because I crave decluttering and minimalism this time of year. I almost just want the place to be a bit bare for a while. Luke and I have been working on something very exciting, well, to us, not really to you. I don't know why you'd care that much about our basement, but we have been cleaning and decluttering our basement, and I am planning a video coming soon and a project coming soon, which I'll also share, all about making it into a food storage area. We added lighting, we minimized a lot of the things that we store down there, all to a couple of racks, and the rest is going to be shelving with grain storage, bulk food. I don't know why it took me so long to realize that the basement is steps away from my kitchen. So there is so much that we keep in our kitchen that really could just be stored down in the basement. So more on that coming soon. I am really excited to do that, but that also means I'm going to be going through some of this Christmas decor and minimizing it as well. One of the reasons I love summer so much is all of the life and beauty that's outside that I can bring in to my farmhouse to make it beautiful. And a few days ago, I got to thinking, I bet there are beautiful things out there right now that when collected together could look like an arrangement of sorts. I also kept a few dried florals from our garden last year. I'm going to do more of that this coming year. So between a little hike on our property with my son who brought some clippers and some things that I dried, we're going to come up with something here that will be beautiful when put together in a thoughtful arrangement, even though it's just a bunch of dead stuff. Right, now let's talk more about some of these delicious baked goods. I have been playing around with so many things sourdough, as usual. It's what I do. And I've come up with something here that I think is pretty darn good. As you can see, both doughs are bubbly and fermented after sitting in the pantry for over 12 hours, 18 hours, something like that. The brown bread will make 2 loaves. So I'm dividing it into flattening each piece out into a rectangle, not using a rolling pin or anything. I don't want to deflate every bubble, and then rolling it up into about 10-inch-ish pieces. This is not super particular. It'll be good no matter what length it is. I want to roll it against the countertop just a bit to give it a bit of tension. And then I'm going to put a piece of parchment here in my warming spot. I have 2 pilot lights that are on all the time on this vintage gas range, so it makes for a really nice warm spot where things can proof very quickly. If you don't have a spot like that, you can either get some kind of mat, like a dough proofing mat they make specifically for that, or just a seed starting mat, or you can put it in a warmer spot in your home, maybe next to a wood stove. You don't necessarily have to do any of that. You can just let it rise for a longer amount of time. If I'm trying to accelerate the process, I put it here in the middle. If I'm trying to make it slow down, I put it somewhere like the pantry, maybe a basement or a root cellar would be another good place if you're trying to slow it down. Ultimately, the fridge works, but it kind of almost pauses it completely depending on the type of dough. I have noticed that doughs that are more hydrated ferment more quickly. So if it's a dough that has more water ratio to the flour, then it hydrates really fast. If it has fat in it, it can stand to ferment a really long time without doing that over ferment where the dough becomes unworkable and you actually can't make it into anything. You can't form it anymore. Okay, while the brown bread is rising, I just made a cardamom, butter, brown sugar mixture to spread on my dough that I made last night for the Swedish buns. You could also use cinnamon. Traditionally, I believe it's cinnamon. I saw so many different ways of shaping these online, so many different ways of adding cinnamon or cardamom. You could do a combination of the two. I folded mine over the mixture of cardamom, butter, and sugar. You could also do it 3 times. I've seen people make 3 layers as opposed to just my 2. After that, I cut it into even strips and then cut up the middle of the strip, twisted it. I twist it around both pieces. I thought I had more footage of actually doing this, but this looks like all I have. So it's kind of hard to see, but even though they end up looking kind of like a twisty, jumbled up mess, they bake up really pretty. I was a little concerned that they wouldn't, but they totally do. Another thing that makes these Swedish buns a bit different from just like a cinnamon roll is the glaze on top. You can use corn syrup. I saw a lot of recipes call for that. I am making my own syrup by combining equal parts water and brown sugar, adding some vanilla, and then cooking it down. So I'm putting it on medium low, letting it simmer until it reduces. I actually reduced mine a little bit too much, so I added some water back in. You want it to be a brushable consistency for when the buns come out. Now the brown bread is rising nicely because my oven also, or the stovetop, gets quite warm whenever I have something in the oven, so then it rises even faster, which is great because I can make both of these today, finish both of these today. I'm brushing it with water, adding some oats on top. Now I meant to score it. On my blog, I tell you to score it. I completely forgot. Makes it more beautiful when you do, but not 100% necessary. I'm going to get that in the oven. Again, if you want the printable version of either of these recipes, head over to farmhouseonboone.com. The cinnamon buns or the cardamom Swedish buns will be up at some point. The brown bread is up now. I'm just going to brush it with the syrup I made and sprinkle it with sesame seeds. This brown bread tastes great, just sliced and spread with butter and honey. It also tastes really great as rolls. One time I just shaped it like dinner rolls and let it rise and bake, and that was really great. It also makes a wonderful French toast. I sent home a loaf with my sister, and my niece made some French toast, so now I know that as well. It's mildly sweet, it's fluffy, and it's a great way to bake with some of those whole grains that I know a lot of you really want to implement more in your diet. I need to make some more candles. I went to order some online. I really like beeswax candles, just plain beeswax, no scent. I don't need a scent. My kitchen is always scented in some way from whatever I'm cooking or baking, but I do like the cozy glow of a candle, and I use them so much that I run out of candles. I was looking for them online, and it seemed kind of pricey for just beeswax in an amber jar, so I purchased some amber jars. I already had a bunch of wicks on hand in the basement, so I'm going to put wicks in all of these jars. I won't have enough beeswax for all of them. And then my plan is to keep the particular jar that I'm going to be melting beeswax in the container in the basement with the wicks and the jars to make this a very streamlined process where I don't have to continually wash the jar. That's the biggest problem with candle making. It's so easy. It's not much to it, but whatever you get wax on is near impossible to get it off. So designate something just for candle making, and you'll be having candles all winter long, especially if you have a local farmer who'd be willing to give you some beeswax. You could really make some economical candles there. One of the best things about winter is the cozy drinks. I'm going to make a rooibos latte with vanilla, maple syrup, frothed milk, and cinnamon. I'm going to light a candle and enjoy this cozy evening. If you are brand new to my channel, please hit that subscribe. I make a new video every week, and wintertime, it'll be cozy videos like this from our farmhouse.